Oh, so sad. The Jackery has died and it's still orange and black. So it's because we have a spring on the property. Well, hello there. So my name's Lex. I live in a fairly small Airstream. I used to live off-grid as a nomad, traveling around the country for the past 3 years, but I settled down in some mountain property with a pit bull and a Belgian shepherd that don't get along. We're putting together an off-grid property slowly, very slowly, but surely. The cistern was delivered on a giant flatbed truck, so they could only bring it to the end of the driveway. From there, we used motorcycle ramps to heave and hoe and push it into the bed of Alex's truck. You only care about ball? No, you can't. It has a cistern time. We are using the same motorcycle ramp system to get it out of the bed of the truck. It is really heavy, even empty, but you know, the motorcycle ramps take a lot of the pressure off. It was definitely harder to get it into the truck than it was to get it out of the truck here. And unfortunately, we're not in a position to just set it up right away. So it's going to have to live just sitting in the yard until we're ready to do something else with it. But here is our foolishness of moving this cistern in probably a super dangerous and inappropriate way. So, you know, this is not for tutorial purposes. This is just showing how we are making things work on a budget in the middle of nowhere off-grid. Cool. Try it. Fine.
Oh my god.
Just fine. Go kill something. It's chimkeys.
What's happening? What are you doing? No. Stop. What? Ah!
I've been with Alex, but mostly still living in my own space. I couldn't give up my own space. Just in January, I redid the cabinets. I put in the desk. I couldn't see letting go of my own space. And now I'm selling it so that I can invest in shared space. It's a good thing. After a little over 3 years and many, many cycles, the Jackery has died. When we try and use the AC outlet, it just turns itself off. This is a pretty vital piece of equipment because we don't have electricity except for solar generators, our house batteries in the Airstream. And we do have a Honda generator, but that is to power the house batteries. We rely on the Jackery right now to exhaust the Nature's Head toilet. So we've been without for a little bit, and the Nature's Head toilet is still pretty okay, but it's definitely better when you can run the exhaust fan outside. So I had something new sent to me since this can now rest in peace. This is a Chinese brand. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's fine. It's even the same color as the Jackery. This one is 1800 watt AC outlets. So it'll definitely power, you helping? It will definitely power the toilet. I don't know how you pronounce this. OUPES. This does have a LifePo 4 battery. That's lithium iron phosphate 4. That's the chemical composition. It's just a better composition, a better chemistry for batteries. The lifespan is 5 times longer than other power stations, having about 2,500 cycles, and it does have a 2-year warranty. Outlets are pure sine wave. It has 2 PD delivery ports, which is nice for like a MacBook or the new iPhone. I think I have to charge it. It's supposed to charge, oh, it has 60% power already. And it's supposed to charge fully in 3.5 hours, so that's nice. This thing is $1,399. Now, if I was to get the Jackery, which would actually be 300 watts less, it would have been $1,699. And it's still orange and black. So if we have an aesthetic principle there, we still have the same color scheme. These all pretty much work the same. So we have the wall outlet if we were to charge it that way. We have the cigarette outlet if we were to charge it that way. And the other part of charging it on like the generator. Now, luckily I do have solar panels from both Bluetti, and my old Rock Pals one still works. So I can always use the solar panels, which is great. The thing is they didn't send an adapter for it. So that would be my one piece of critique, is these power units are used mostly by off-gridders like me, which means we're going to most likely power it by solar. Right now we can power it up off the generator, but I don't want to do that all the time. So that would be my only thing, is I have to get my own adapter now for solar, which is kind of a bummer. But overall, I think it'll be a good unit. We'll put it to the test and see how it runs our toilet fan, because that's really its main purpose. Toilet fan, my blow dryer, my curling iron, my toothbrush. Basically, this is the power station for the bathroom, is the point that I'm trying to make. This is our toilet power station. You're my helper today. While the other one goes and kills small rodents, which is helpful to have, hey, everything in the mouth. Riot's a really good ratter, even though she's not a terrier. You're a terrier and you're a terrorist. Yeah. Everything in the mouth. Oh, I stand corrected. See, this is why I guess instructions are beneficial. It will take about 4 hours to fully charge using the AC adapter. And it gives a caution. It says, please use our standard solar panels and adapters to charge the device, otherwise the device might not charge normally. In severe cases, the lifespan will be reduced and the device might be damaged due to a short circuit. I can understand that if you're using solar panels that were like really mismatched, but I don't think we'll have a problem. But they didn't give us an adapter for the solar panels. And it says that if you do charge it with solar panels, it will only be 3.5 hours to fully charge, depending on the sun. They show it with 2 100-watt panels. I have a 200-watt panel, so we could probably make this work. This looks ridiculous, but it will power the toilet a lot longer than one of the smaller units, like the smaller Jackery that I had. We were just using that one because I had it, and it's smaller than the giant Bluetti that I have. But this is where the fan power goes to the Nature's Head toilet. And so, let's try. Okay, that is a very loud fan. I did not read the instructions because, you know, it says we got 99 hours on AC. It says the AC is on, I believe. I hear the fan running on the toilet, so we'll go ahead and assume. And if you're wondering, living in this small of a space, especially as a lady, this was different when I was in the cargo trailer because it was just my own mess. And I had a sink that I would put up and take down whenever I needed to use it. But now, we just have my shit everywhere all the time, which I'm sure Alex loves, but he has not complained, so it continues. And now we have this. If you're wondering why we're not just hardwiring this to the inverter, it's because we'd have to drill through this wall and then figure out how to reorganize space in here to run the cable. And it's just more work than probably needed because we might move the compost toilet into the house once we make it. And if we can run it on one of these, why not? Because then I can also run my curling iron and everything else without turning on the generator. So it just makes more sense to use a power station, albeit maybe a lethargic option.
And every conceptualized this way for
Okay, we're getting ready for the morning. I now have my toothbrush plugged in and charging, our Nature's Head toilet, and a curling iron because I actually showered yesterday. We only have 1 hour left, probably because of the curling iron. This has been running for over 48 hours, so the hour mark does seem to be accurate. We'll have to charge it today. Oh, I used it all up curling my hair.
Being mistaken for a wanted fugitive or wrongfully accused of cheating
Two people in a really cramped bathroom is not always super fun. This has been working really, really well. As I mentioned, we're using it for mostly the toilet. I just emptied the compost toilet, so that is why this is not plugged in. You can hear that startup fan is really loud. It does last on battery pretty well, but when you're charging it from the wall outlet, this thing gets incredibly hot, like incredibly hot. Like I would not leave this anywhere near like this plastic case. I really think it could melt something. It makes me a little bit nervous, but I still am looking for an adapter that fits. I think I might need to order one so I can use this with my solar panels. So solar is obviously the way to go because I have to charge this off the generator, which, I mean, it's like, you know, but at least this will run the toilet fan like overnight or when we don't have the generator plugged in, which is most of the day. We only run the generator a couple hours to top off batteries and charge like this kind of thing. But compost toilet is great. Emptying it is a nightmare. Every 3 weeks, I feel really hostile about it. The peeing container is not bad, but the toilet thing, the way that they roto-molded this, I would show you, but inevitably that's kind of nasty to look at because you know what's in there. But there's like no efficient way to really get this thing clean. And that bothers me. I know you're supposed to leave some of the poo to like compost, but I'm talking about like around the rim or on the top side of this, which looks gross right now. I don't even want to show you. Hey, kid. Living in here is pretty small as well. We have the shades drawn for the sun right now. You know, you try and store what you can store in as organized a fashion as possible. We both work remotely, so Alex usually works standing up over here, and I sit in the chair and work off that laptop all day. And I mean, it works out pretty well, but I'm not going to lie. One day we're going to get this cabin built, and I think that's going to be a much better quality of life if we're going to be stationary. Out here, you know, we have the grill. I cook on this pretty much every night because you can use it pretty much like an oven now. I hear the breath. Where is she? There she is. I just had to turn this way. Hello. Right? Pretty much hunts all day. Where's the chippies? Go find her. It doesn't take a lot of encouragement, but she is very good at keeping chipmunks and squirrels and rabbits off of the property. We also have fox. We found a bear in the middle of the night getting into that trash. Sorry about the down pooper scooper. I probably need to put that to use here soon. And we've heard a mountain lion, but haven't seen it yet. We have the Wii Boost, which is essential. I don't think we could use our MiFi devices without it. We do have Starlink on deposit, so that should be exciting in the new year. Over here is Alex's creation. It's going to be a base for our giant cistern. So we're going to fill it and level it with some gravel. And the cistern is going to be housed here. We are going to have to figure out a way to insulate it for winter. But we didn't have the option of burying it because of the nature of the ground here and the amount of rock. So we would have had a blast, and that just wasn't in the budget or logistics right now. So for now, our cistern is sitting out here waiting. Once that base is done and we have the gravel and everything, we'll figure out a way, which will probably be a comedy, to get it into the base. And then we'll have to probably hire someone to plumb it. Maybe that's something we could do ourselves. I don't know. More research needed. Another upgrade is we were able to get a gas tank. So we will have gas service. I think this is a 500-gallon tank, maybe? I can't remember off the top of my head. But they came and put the tank in. Again, Alex created just like a little base for it. We're gonna put in some gravel here too. And now we have enough propane to last us a long, long time, because refilling the smaller containers was getting tedious. The water haul is beyond tedious at this point, but that's another story. So the gas service will help. You can see there's just like a line running for it. So I'd probably in time like to dig out a little trench and bury the line, but all in good time. You have to remember we work 40 active hours a week, which means you're scheduled for 50 hours a week. And we're trying to fit these projects in on the weekends and in the evenings, while also not making ourselves miserable by just working all the time on one thing or another. Although getting this all together is pretty enjoyable. It's just there's so much to do, it's hard to determine where to begin. So, talk about this. This is where the cargo trailer was being housed. And I sold it to a really nice lady who I think will have many great adventures in it. Super easy transaction. She got a great deal. I'm pretty happy with the amount of money that I got for it. I got what I was asking, but I know I was under asking, so. But it's all good, because eventually we're gonna put in a shed. So we bought it. We gotta get rid of all of this cut wood that, you know, and debris that we've cleared. We're hemming and hawing whether we want to do truckfuls, rent a small flatbed trailer, or pay someone to do it. Sometimes, you know, it's cost versus time analysis. Riot just loves running. Loves, loves, loves running. As we come down the driveway, so in this area that we have over here, basically the funds of the cargo trailer went to purchase gravel, which we'll have delivered in a couple days. We're going to level this area. Oh, she's fast. And then we have, I think it's a 7x10 shed that'll go here to house all of our storage, our e-bikes, the motorcycle, everything that's basically getting stored in my truck right now, which is just a mess because everything had to come out of the cargo trailer, so now it's all in my truck. But we're gonna have the shed here. That'll definitely be a quality of life improvement from an organization standpoint, and open up my truck to not looking like, you know, just a hot mess. If you see this here in the driveway, it's a riot. But if you see this here in the driveway, this is because we have a spring on the property. And so we realized this in hindsight after working with the contractor for the driveway, because we were like, what is happening here? You know, we're new at this. So, you know, it's part of the joy of the channel is, you know, we're not pretending to be experts. We're figuring it out. And anyway, one of the things we figured out is we have a spring. Now what that means is it's good news because it means the potential for having a solid well is very good, especially because we know there's wells on many of the other properties in the area. We know that there is a spring. We don't know the depth or anything. Once we get a little farther along and save a little bit more money, we're going to have a witcher come out to tell us a little bit more about the best place to dig a well. If you don't know what a witcher is, they basically come with some sticks. And I don't know the science of it because I don't know that it's scientific. But they can tell you where water is on your property. Or at least kind of give you the likelihood of water on your property. To start us off, because a well is very expensive, we have the cistern, which is just a beautiful piece of yard art right now. And I cannot wait for it to not be yard art. But for now it is. Right, it's up on our ridge. We have most of our acreage back that way. We have plans for that too, but first things first is creating a more sustainable shelter. Not that the Airstream isn't good, but you know, if you're going to be living on one piece of land for a while, the Airstream will be good for subsequent travels, but not for day to day. However, our plan is to not build a house until maybe spring. So there is going to be a lot of RV living through a mountainous winter, which should be interesting and maybe provide good content. So you can look forward to that. All right, so that is our little update. I will continue giving an update on this new power station. We still have to tell you about Todd. Todd is a character. Ow! Todd is a character and you know, deserves a story time. It's just to put it all into words, you know, because I don't want to film him. That seems a little too much. So got to tell you the story of Todd. And then we're getting the gravel to level these areas here this week. So hopefully we make progress on the cistern really soon, because this water haul situation is getting super old if you're going to be in one spot. It was different when I was traveling, you know, when you're really conserving water. But we calculated it and we still only use about 5 gallons a day. The average US household uses 110 gallons of water a day. And we use about 5. So considering the water crisis across the US, particularly by my other property, because yes, I still do own my Arizona property, you know, the water crisis there is really bad. And I kept that, well, maybe that's a story for another video too, is keeping the other property. If I don't have the cargo trailer anymore, at least I have another 5 acres. Right? Which is great. All right.